maybe there's a return. Maybe there's, hey, bring our guy back. That would be kind of fun, right? Can we bring Tyreek back to KC?
I think Miami's having a little bit of an issue with Tyreek over the years and showing up to stretch and practice. And
he's got to drop the kids off at the pool, Fitz. I mean, calm down.
He's got to drop the kids off. He couldn't make practice on time. Welcome to the Fitz and Whit Show, a Wave original. We're your host. I am Ryan Joseph Fitzpatrick.
I'm Andrew James Whitworth, baby. Let's go.
Is your middle name James? I didn't know that.
It is James.
Okay. AJW. I like that. Did anybody ever call you AJ or no?
That is a negative. Nor Andy,
right,
because it would be a problem.
All right, RJ and AJ here. Subscribe on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast, and follow the show on social media at Fitz and Whit. That's Fitz, A-N-D, Whit. New episodes every Wednesday.
Fitz, I'm jacked up, baby. Week 2 did not disappoint. I think it's another example, brother, of this is the greatest reality TV show there is in the whole entire world.
It sure is.
I mean, we get it all. The drama, the relationship breakup possible because head coaches and quarterbacks aren't getting along. We got teams struggling. We got heartbreak. We got desperation mode for teams. I love it, brother, because I know there's some teams out there right now that are looking for the red button. We need help. Come help us now. All right. So look, we're going to dive into it though. Week 3's coming up. Which team is the most desperate? And also we got to get into the drama in Miami. I know it's a place that you play and near and dear to the heart.
A lot of drama.
A lot of drama there.
All right. Called it before the season started. A lot of drama.
I also have some questions for you about the training wheels for some of these young quarterbacks. And I'm going to need to have a discussion about what do you do when your daughter gets asked to her first high school dance. It's an issue, Fitz.
Yeah, I know. I feel for you, brother. I feel for you.
But what I'm most excited about is we get a chance to talk to a legend today, Hall of Famer Dan Marino. I can't wait for this conversation. This is going to be awesome.
Dan the man. Yeah, he's awesome. I've got a couple complaints about my Sundays and my viewing. First of all, the YouTube stuff where it puts on the Enjoy the Zen. They had cricket noises going. That's not Zen to me. I like a lot of the other ones, but the cricket noises, give me a break. It's not peaceful. It's too much. I don't like the cricket noises. Here's the other thing. I don't know if it's my TVs or if you have the same issue, but every now and again you'll get a commercial that is way louder than everything else. It's louder than the game. It's louder than the other commercials. And usually it's like, you know, some drug company or whatever. I don't know how to regulate that, but I hate it. Can we fix something with that?
Do you have all the TV's audio on at once? That's what I'm asking.
I just have one. Just one.
Okay.
We there's one game, one audio. And like we can switch them around, but usually, you know, this last Sunday in the morning games, it was the Bills-Jets game that was on with the audio. Whoa, I don't know, Jim. Which is always great. A couple other thoughts. Amazing with all the thought, controversy, talk that went into the Hawkeye technology. We've seen one maybe with the first down measurements. Like, I guess they just don't really happen that often.
They don't.
Right?
And it's not exciting for me at all. I kind of like the chains coming out.
Yeah, me too. So I think, I don't know. I don't know if that was the technology on that one was actually a good thing or not.
You know when you go to a baseball game and they do the deal where they hide the baseball under the little helmets and they rotate it around on the screen and then everyone's watched it?
I love
That's
that.
what it feels like to me. Like,
oh, but I love that. You don't like that?
But I feel like they almost need to make a game of it to where like you're watching, you have no idea what's going to happen, and then all of a sudden it shows you like it wasn't a first down or it was. Because right now it just feels like it's just the part where they lift the helmet and the baseball's under it, and that's it. Like it's like that's what it feels like to me. It's just we
need a little more build up.
I need something.
The last thing that I had to get off my chest, this really bothered me when I was watching the Giants Cowboys game, which was an epic game. So Cooper Beebe goes down, right? He gets hurt. When the center gets hurt, that's a big deal. But inevitably, there's a snap issue. And so there was a snap issue. Dak Prescott drops a snap. And they immediately go to the image of him taking the snap under center. Oh, his hands are split. He's got to get that left hand up there. Whose fault do we think it was? Like, Dak Prescott's a 10-year veteran. There's a new kid that just came in. Like, oh, Dak's got to get his left hand up there. No, it's not the quarterback's fault when he's a 10-year vet and there's a new guy that comes in to snap the ball. I'm sorry. All right, let's get into it, Whit. We're 2 weeks into the season, And I know you think that week 1 really matters. You gave me all those meaningless stats last week, 30% this, 90% that, blah, 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 blah. But after week 2, I think at least now we can really start seeing a team's identity for the year. What'd you feel in week 2?
Well, listen, Fitz, week 1 is about some of these stats, and they do kind of tell us, hey, the direction you're headed, because the percentages in history tell us that, okay? Not me. It ain't Big Whit saying that. That's what over time the statistics say. What I'm going to tell you now is 2-0 and 0-2, two totally different things. But I'll say this. If you watch the Detroit Lions game, which talk about a team that made a bounce back game after what they looked like in week 1 and absolutely devoured the Chicago Bears, you saw Eminem. They showed him on the screen. He was at the game watching his Detroit Lions. So listen, I'm going to say week 2 is a lot like the song The Real Slim Shady. All right. Okay. And what I mean by that, Fitz, is will the real Slim Shady please stand up? That's what football in week 2 is about. There's no imposters and no fake, hey, week 1 we were good, week 1 we struggled. Well, who the hell are you when you respond and maybe either repeat the performance because you played good in week 1 or you didn't play up to your standards? How do you show up in week 2? That starts to tell us who the real you is. So I think I want to know, Fitz, with the Cardinals and the Colts both sitting at 2-0, who has a better record at the end of the year? Or let me phrase it to you this way.
Okay.
Which one of these two teams do you think this is legit more who they are, and this is really a tale of maybe how this season's going to be for this football team?
Well, I appreciate you making a rap reference that I actually knew.
Well, I had to search a lot because I knew there weren't many you did.
Yeah, 303. No, 330. Okay.
It's 281.
I was saying 303, but it's 330, right?
330-8004. All right.
Okay, who?
Go ahead.
All right. I'll tell you what. So the Cardinals almost blew it, right? And the Colts, they did lose the game, and then they didn't. And it was pretty funny. If you go back and watch that final kick, it actually says, because the Colts missed the field goal, the penalty on the Broncos, it says Broncos 2-0, Colts 1-1 at the bottom of the screen. But let's look at how they got there. Arizona, which last year, look, we talked about them a lot as just being a feisty team. We really like Jonathan Gannon, the way they're coached, the culture he's creating. But I don't know if we can overhype the Cardinals at this point. They beat the Saints and the Panthers, which, in my opinion, are probably the 2 worst teams in the NFL. I think Tennessee's up there, too. Well, guess what? In a couple weeks, they get to play Tennessee as well. So in their first 5 games, they get to play the 3 worst teams in the NFL. Potentially, they get 49ers this week without Brock Purdy, and then we'll get them in Seattle on Thursday night. But when you look at the team, what do they do in the offseason? Josh Sweat, Dalvin Tomlinson, and then the ageless wonder, Calais Campbell. They bring them all in. They bolster the D-line. Trey McBride is an absolute stud if you haven't watched him play football, and they could run the ball. Okay, I'm okay on the Cardinals right now, but let's look at the Colts. So the Colts blow out Miami, which nobody saw coming, except for me and you, of course. And then the win, we're calling it a win on Sunday against the Broncos. But it's like, let's look at their team and how they're made, the talent that they have on offense. Jonathan Taylor's in year 6, not showing any signs of slowing down. Tyler Warren is an absolute savage. He's got 11 catches, 155 yards in 2 games on the year. And by the way, Tyler Warren was the guy that I had somebody reach out to me that's been in the NFL for 20 plus years and say, this is the best, most complete tight end I've ever seen come out of college. So he's lived up to that billing so far. You've got Alec Pierce, you've got Michael Pittman, you've got Josh Downs, and then you have Shane Steichen, who's a damn good football coach. And then the other thing, when I watch Daniel Jones, it's not just the way he's playing right now, but the confidence that he has. And one of the ways where you could tell when a quarterback has confidence, everything is hitting his dudes in the face mask. He's throwing lasers. He's throwing it looks easy coming out of his hand. He's got 6'3" Alec Pierce. He's got 6'4" Michael Pittman Jr. He's got 6'6" Tyler Warren that he is absolutely throwing seeds to, and it's really, really nice to watch. So when I look at these two teams, I would say the Colts, AFC South is a much weaker division than the NFC West this year. The Colts have way more firepower on offense. Shane Steichen is one of the best play callers in the NFL. So I think there is no doubt this is going to continue for the Colts, and they will end up with a better record than the Cardinals at the end of the year. But that was a long-winded way of saying, man, the Colts are damn impressive this year. Whit, my
Were you
question
saying
for
the
you.
thing? Real question before you ask me that. I got a follow up for something you said.
Yeah.
When you were saying the thing about hitting everybody in the face in the face mask.
Yeah.
Is that different than the chest where Liam Cohen wanted all the footballs thrown by Trevor Lawrence?
Yeah. Well, when you're leading guys over in the middle of the field with the hospital balls, you want to hit them, slow them down, and hit them in the chest so they can immediately dive to the ground.
I wasn't sure. I saw that
coverage.
dialogue. I don't know if anybody's seen it, but it's you can tell
how
there's a
about
clear
that?
emphasis that Liam Cohen wants it in the chest.
Well, it's something to keep an eye on. It's like, is there friction there already? Like, I would just, the advice I give to Trevor Lawrence is, look, if it doesn't work with Liam Cohen, it's not going to work with anybody. So this is a relationship that we want to see work. Liam has proven he's a great play caller. Did a great job with Baker last year, and they have the weapons. It was unfortunate to see them lose that game to Cincy after Joe Burrow went down. My big question to you, Whit, just this week 2 stuff, and I'm going to give you some guidelines because I don't want you to pick the Bills, and I don't want you to pick the Rams. Let's take them out of the equation.
A lot of assumptions made there.
Well, I know you're going to pick one of the two, but give me a team that you like watching compete on Sundays, a team that you're excited to see where they're going to end up at the end of this season.
Oh, man. There's a couple out there right now. I think Bills Rams would definitely be at the top of that list. So
you can't say them
out. Yeah, I know, and I was excited. I got to go to the game yesterday in Nashville, so I was there with the Rams. So I'm a little amped up about it. But I'm going to go this, and Rams fans will probably not like this, but I'm going to go Seattle Seahawks. Fitz.
Oh, Cooper Kupp.
I like the Seattle Seahawks, and here's why. I love kind of watching this. It's like everybody last year, all year long. It feels like I even knew an analyst that said that he was on a pumpkin watch, but I thought all year. Sam Darnold, it's like he just kept answering the bell. People, and then it became like this awesome story, how cool it is that he's changed his whole career trajectory. And then it's like you go to Seattle, and people, I think, still were like, oh, man, this is going to be, we're probably a bad decision by the Seahawks. Smith goes elsewhere. You bring in Sam Darnold. Do people really believe? He's continued to play well. I think seeing really Clint Kubiak's impact on what they're going to do as an offense, I think this is what, obviously, he had a little bit of in Minnesota. I think they have a better run game now. But this emphasis that we're going to run the football, we're going to throw play actions, and defensively, wow. I mean, watching them play defense, the way they're competing on the defensive side of the football, I thought this was really neat. And one of the things that you love to see teams do is, I'm going to mention the Bills here for just a second, and that is, yes, in week 1, did they struggle against the Ravens, but they found ways to make plays at the end of the game defensively to really answer the bell and give Josh an opportunity to go win this game for them. But the next week, I was interested to see, you're down Ed Oliver. How does your defense respond to a team that's about to just bring it at you physically? And they absolutely.
Did you watch the pregame show when Rex Ryan was like, oh, they're going to get run through by the Jets?
And they heard that all week. And so I thought the coolest thing is when you see these teams adapt to whatever they need to be to handle the game they're in. And I thought it was cool to see Seattle say, all right, with this front we got, with Leonard Williams, with Byron Murphy, all these guys, we're going to say, all right, Steelers, we're going to play 2 shells, and we're going to make you prove that y'all want to play physical football and you can run the ball successfully to get us out of it, even though the week before we did a whole lot of other stuff, and we did a lot of what you're kind of gotten known since he was in with the Ravens for McDonald and the Seahawks last year. We're going to kind of sit back. We're going to play some zones. We're going to hang out and just trust our guys up front to stop the run and play well, and that's where we feel like we can dominate you. And you heard Aaron Rodgers in the postgame be like, man, last week they were a complete different defense. This week we couldn't run them out of all these shells, so we had no chance. I'm sitting back there like, man, there's nothing I can do. I think when a team can do that, that's really a compliment to belief in their system.
When Aaron loses, is there ever anything that he can do about it?
No. There's nothing he can do. But Seattle, I love watching them play right now. I think they're playing with a sense of urgency that you like to see. I think, our guy, me and you have been asking for Rasheed Walker to get the ball, and somebody just hand it to him over and over again. And I love seeing him get a chance to make some big runs in this game, and this attitude they have. You want to help your offensive line, get under center, run the football, and give them a chance to exert some dominance in the game before you drop back and throw it. And then, look, you got Cooper Kupp, you got Jackson Smith and Jigba, you got some guys that they can hurt you with.
Yeah, and so the Sam Darnold stuff, that leads us to thinking about the team that he left and Minnesota. And
that was a tough
J.J.
watch
McCarthy, NFC Player of the Week, week 1, came alive in the fourth quarter against the Bears. But The hard thing about the NFL and playing quarterback and being a young guy is consistency, and not just showing up for one quarter or having a great, but it's doing it great for a game and then doing it again and then doing it again. And that's a tough situation. So from my perspective as a young quarterback, would you want to play in Minnesota? Yes, they have an elite defense. Brian Flores always has those guys going. They've got a good run game. And our buddy, Coach Kevin O'Connell, and the way that he's proven that he can get the best out of and develop these quarterbacks. Now, the problem is the expectations are unrealistic. J.J. McCarthy comes in. He takes over a team that won 14 games last year. I think they were 9-1 in one-score games. There was going to be a natural regression this year anyway, just based off of that. They re-signed a lot of their guys on defense. They bring in Jonathan Allen. They bring in Hargrave. Like, this defense is going to be good, and they're going to be tough all year. Jordan Addison's not back for another week or two. And now we get the news that McCarthy's out for a few weeks. But even after that, when he comes back, you've got a young quarterback. We saw Sam Darnold light it up in Minnesota last year. You've got playmakers all over the field, and the game is moving really fast for him right now. And coming into a team as a rookie that won 14, or second year, but really first year playing, that won 14 games last year, I think that's really difficult for him, and the expectations are unrealistic for this team right now.
Yeah, I don't know how many situations there is where a young quarterback who's actually never taken a snap in the NFL takes over for a team that won 14 games the year before.
I don't remember it happening.
The expectation level difference of those two things is crazy. It's different when you're Caleb Williams and you're taking a Bears team that's like struggled forever, or whatever, like young quarterback. That's the norm. You're taking over a team where their expectation level is like last year, we should have been in the Super Bowl. We won 14 games. We feel like we messed it up in the playoffs. Like, that's a wild scenario. But I want to take you back because I have a question about this. Watching some of the stuff, it feels like ever since Kevin O'Connell kind of had a couple of those moments last year where after the game, he's kind of speaking some love and just encouragement into some of these quarterbacks that are in tough situations. That went viral and became a thing. It's like they're always looking for these moments from him during games. You can tell they're following him around. Well, there's this clip when he goes over to J.J. McCarthy in the Bears game. And I thought it was interesting, and I wanted to ask you this. He kind of basically says something to the fact of like, man, like, it looks like you're getting in control and you're starting to control the huddle and you're starting to mentally be kind of on top of things. And if you keep doing that, I'm going to give you a couple chances. And so what I want to ask is, if I'm a fan watching that, what leads to a coach either saying, hey, we're going to leave these training wheels on for this game, or, hey, what are the moments where we're going to take them off? And as a player on that team, do you think guys feel that at all when we see some of these frustrations kind of start to build offensively?
I think they do feel it. I also think Kevin O'Connell does a great job. I'm sure he's had conversations with Justin Jefferson about how this might not start off as smooth as you've had it before in your career. You got to remember, like, he's had different quarterbacks, but I mean, Kirk Cousins, if you're a wide receiver and you want statistics, like, Kirk's as good as it gets in terms of putting the ball down the field and spreading it around, and obviously what Sam Darnold did last year. But I think the unique thing about Kevin O'Connell, in having been a player, having been to different places, is he sees these situations before they happen and is able to confront them and kind of nip them in the bud. That being said, there's going to be frustration from the guys on offense with what's going on right now. I think what he meant by that is J.J. McCarthy, it's not to say he hasn't learned the whole playbook. I've heard about his study habits. I've heard how smart he is. But it is like the reps that you're getting. There's only a certain amount of them you could take in the offseason, a certain amount of them you could practice each week versus a certain amount of looks. Like, he's going to be doing a lot of learning in game. And so some of that for Kevin is feeling out JJ and feeling out what makes him tick. I think we saw in the fourth quarter of the Chicago game, him and Josh used to say this. Josh Allen used to say this. He used to love running early. And I did too. I used to love getting hit early just to get me in the game. And J.J. McCarthy seems like he has that mentality where maybe it is going to take him to lower his left shoulder in a couple of these games and try to hit somebody just to be like, all right, it's game time, get those juices flowing. But it's going to be a limited menu for him because they do have to figure out what he can do. And teams know that. and teams are going to come after them, and then that's going to open up the shots. But the thing that JJ has to do, because he's not going to be able to understand, coverages, concepts, things until he sees them sometimes, when he's got guys on go balls, inside fades, outside fades, and he's throwing it down the field and they're open, he's got to hit them. And he missed a big opportunity in that game on one of those inside fades where that's just backyard football. He was able to recognize that he threw it and he overthrew the guy by 5 yards. Those are the plays that Kevin O'Connell needs him to make. There's going to be some stuff. There's going to be growing pains. We're going to ease you into this offense. But the plays that are purely physical are the ones that he needs JJ to make. And, hopefully that he continues, to hit those in practice and it translates to the field, because it's been 2 games in a row, other than the miraculous comeback with the Vikings in week 1, where it's been tough to watch that offense. They're probably 7 of the 8 quarters they've played this year.
Yeah, it is tough. I think to your point, I think of even, really week 1, what led to him being player of the week or whatever. I mean, it's really some calls where Kevin calls some stuff where, hey, it's like, it's going to be open. You just got to make the throw, and he made them, right? And so,
yeah. Well, look, he made 3 plays in that game. He had the one where Justin Jefferson was double covered and cut in front of the safety, and he threw it in the end zone. Wonderful. I wouldn't make a living off of that, but he, in the moment where he had to make the play, he made it. Kevin dialed up the awesome play where the back comes out of the backfield, hesitates. And look, those are the ones. If I'm going to give you layups, you got to hit them. And that was an example of one that he hit, and then the touchdown run. But there's some things that he's really going to be able to do and take advantage of. But yeah, you're right.
If there's not a good testament, Fitz, on a sidetrack of good play callers watch other good play callers, Christian McCaffrey happened to catch one out of the backfield in a very similar play this week.
You know what? That's probably like O'Connell probably stole that from Shanahan.
Yeah,
that's all
they
ago,
do.
So
that's
New England's been running that play
that
forever too. But yeah, it's the flavor of the week, and that play's hot right now versus the too high shell coverages, especially as you get down there with the quarters and everything. But there's some desperation there in Minnesota, a little bit of them trying to figure it out, especially on the heels of last year. There's 2 other teams, though, Whit, that started the season 0-2 that I want to get your take on. Maybe a little vibe check. Miami, and more importantly, the Kansas City Chiefs are 0-2. First time in Patrick Mahomes' career he's lost 3 games in a row. One of them was the Super Bowl, but are we panicking with the Chiefs right now?
I am not panicking with the Chiefs. And there's actually a couple main reasons. Here's my number one is that every year for the last 2 years, I've panicked and been made look like an idiot because I keep saying they're about to get beat. And this is it. And every year they make me look like an idiot. Last year, I just went on a full, I actually convinced myself that I had become good luck for the Chiefs in just saying that they're going to lose. And so I just rode it the whole way. I think this is it. This is the end of the road. And, for whatever reason, they kept winning.
Tell me why you're not afraid then that they're other than Pat. Let's just look at this year's team. We don't know the history of this team. Tell me why you're not afraid this 0-2 start is,
I'm not afraid because I thought, again, the response to playing a really good Eagles team was what you wanted to see. I thought the defense played great. Listen, that Philly team is talented in every position you could possibly be. They're a really good team. As I've said, they are built to be like the Chiefs were on their run they just got through having. The Eagles are built to withstand and be a team that could go on a run here for some Super Bowl appearances. So I thought the response in that week, because Philly's built up for this game. You're coming off of the Super Bowl where they just embarrassed you. The response was awesome. I thought defensively they responded. I thought offensively they just continue to not have all their guys, and it's just not as explosive as we want it to be. I feel like when they get Rashee Rice, when they have Hollywood Brown, when they have Xavier, all these guys there, they have their crew. I think that they are going to be just fine, and we're going to see this offense open back up and be what we kind of hoped this year's version was going to be once they have all the guys together. But I think right now there's going to be a little bit of some tough times, and it's going to be them fighting, and they're going to need a little last year where they just win games through making the plays when they have to make them and not making mistakes and not having those moments. Because you even look in this game, tough call down there, just, with Travis comes out of that break. He didn't quite have his head around. The ball got on him fast. Ball bounces off of him. Interception.
That's tough.
Massive moment in the game, right? And it's like, Trav, we know him well. It's like, dude, he's livid. He's upset, whatever. But also really tough. That's an insanely tough situation.
Tough catch.
That ball was on him super fast. He hardly had his head around. But they're that close to like the opportunity where they respond in week 2 and win. So I think this is a really good football team. And I think what we've just seen with what happened to Burrow, you look across the AFC, do I see a lot of teams that I go, oh man, these are just dominant football teams? I don't. I think Buffalo and Baltimore are at the top, and then the rest of it is a lot of debate of who's going to finish this year the right way. So I think the Chiefs have this opportunity where they get to December, they become who they are, and they do it to us every freaking year. And Patrick Mahomes, what do you know? In the biggest moments, he's at his best, and they're going to make a run again. And Baltimore and Buffalo are going to have to deal with the Chiefs again. I think that's how it's going to play out. Having said that, the other team you brought up, maybe there's a return. Maybe there's, hey, bring our guy back. That would be kind of fun, right? Can we bring Tyreek back to KC?
I mean, it would almost solve both. I think Miami's having a little bit of an issue with Tyreek over the years and showing up to stretch and practice and, attitude stuff.
He's got to drop the kids off at the pool, Fitz. I mean, calm down.
He's got to drop the kids off. He couldn't make practice on time. But yeah, maybe that trade does solve both things. And sometimes with receivers, changing scenery is a good thing. I have no idea financially how that works. And, it just seems like since all of it's monopoly money anyway, and you can play around with the cap, teams would be able to get that done. But a little bit more of that than I do. But I love that, I'm trying to get you to panic about the Chiefs. You're very calm. You're cool. You're collected.
I'll tell you my one panic. You want to know my one panic?
I would love.
Spags called more blitzes than he's called his entire time as a coordinator there because they cannot get home with their front four. And that is an issue. When you play teams that can abuse you in that sense that you got to bring pressures to get home, that could be an issue for them. And so I am a little concerned about their ability to get home.
Or maybe they're just looking back at the Super Bowl going, okay, there's a different way to try to get after these guys. I don't know.
Yeah, I just think they struggled against the Chargers to get any pressure on Justin Herbert. They struggled in this game. I think I'm worried a little bit about that part of it. They've got to be able to create some pressure on the quarterback.
I thought you were going to say the panic part of it was the text message I got from you the other day, which was your daughter, freshman in high school, getting asked to homecoming for her first official dance. I mean, you are in a pure state of panic over that.
Yeah, I don't know if it was being on the road and not being home and the homecoming thing and the sign and the excitement. You know what really got me? Here's what got me. How nervous she was. And that's what got me. Like, oh, no. She's this nervous. This isn't good.
But she was nervous of telling you, or she was nervous of just going
She was
home?
nervous that he was possibly coming to ask. She had heard that he was going to ask, and she was so nervous, scared to death. And I'm like, oh no, this is bad. This is bad. Here's the thing though, Fitz. Here's the couple things I've workshopped through. Okay. All right. There's probably some dads out there that are Fitz and Whit fans. And, we all get in these situations. And much like your Augusta tribute to, when you go on these road trips and you come home to your wife, after you've had these great moments, here's where I'm at. Here's where I'm deciding to go with it. Okay. My freshman daughter gets invited to home or asked to homecoming with the QB of the team at her high school. And here's where I'm going to go. I'm going to lead with pride, not panic. I'm going to tell her I'm excited for her so that she remembers that first reaction is, you know what? Dad's really excited. He's not worried about it. He's not going to give some speech like, who is this boy? Blah, 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 blah. I'm going to be excited for her. So I sent a congrats, called her. Hey, baby, I'm really happy for you. Then I'm going to ask, not interrogate. So, hey, what do you like about him? What are y'all's plans? Right? I'm going to keep it open to some dialogue, right? Okay. So I can set, then I'm going to set some expectations. Hey, let's go early with it and say, hey, what's the plan? How are y'all getting there? Are you riding in a car or something? Because we've just entered this age, Fitz. Like they can drive, they can ride with kids.
What's the post?
Wait a minute, we're not driving you?
Yeah, no, we need the post homecoming plan is what we need.
Yeah,
to make sure
I just want to know, like, all right, how we're getting there. What's the plan afterwards? Who's along? What's the ride situation? This is all teamwork. It's not rules, Fitz. Teamwork. I'm just trying to help you have a great night. I'm not laying out rules. Okay.
I got to write some.
All right.
Down.
Then
I like this.
I want to meet. Hey, listen, I've already met the kid. my approach with him is I'm like a coach, not a bouncer. All right. I wanted to go bad boy style, get Sherm down here. You know, when I shared with you guys that they were
Sherm was ready to get on a flight. He
Sherm
was ready
was
to get on a
booking
flight.
He was coming down here like, this is going to be an issue. Let's talk to this kid. And I'm like, hey, no, whoa. Listen, I want to, hey, good handshake, eye contact. How you doing, man? No cleaning the shotgun bits. No, none of that stuff, right? Like,
you're 6'7". I mean, you're going to scare the shit out of him anyway.
All right, right here.
Yeah.
All right. So I don't need any of that, right? So you listen. I'm just trying to set a setting where I'm supportive, and you know what? I'm a part of the team. All right. This is her show. I'm going to be here to support her in any way I can. That's the game plan. And if you can't tell, I'm really panicked about doing that.
You are, and I'm taking notes because I've got a freshman daughter as well. Coming up, we have a treat for you. We are going to be talking to my good friend, Dan the Man. Dan Marino will be joining us in just a minute.
This next segment is presented by DraftKings. The crown is yours. Okay, Beardos, we're moving into another week of NFL action, and it's time to win big. Week 2 is over, and now we're moving to week 3. Fitz, we're each going to pick our top 3 picks for players in week 3's games on DraftKings.
Oh, funny you say that, Whit. I actually just wrote them down. I'm a big Post-it note guy and a big yellow legal pad guy, so this is a great combination for me. I've got more on touchdowns for Nico Collins. He has to get going. They need him. They're playing against the Jags. I think he's going to get in the end zone. I think you're going to like this one. I've got more on touchdowns for Cooper Kupp. They're playing against the Saints this week. Cooper's just going to continue to be a bigger part of that offense, get him going, get him more involved. And with the eyeballs on JSN, Coop is going to be open and ready. What are your 3, Whit?
You know what? I'm going to pick some really difficult ones, okay? One of them is one of my favorite rushers in the NFL. I'm going James Cook more for touchdowns. I know that's going to shock you, but he's also one of my favorites. And so I just decided this week I'm going with 3 guys that have I'm really behind. I think they're going to have big years. So I'm also going to go Bijan Robinson for more touchdowns for the Falcons. This dude has started the season off on fire, and I think it's going to continue. I think he's going to be the emphasis of that whole offense this year for the Falcons. And then a guy who absolutely dominated this past week, and I think he's going to keep doing it because I think that Shane Steichen and Daniel Jones and this Indianapolis Colts offense is going to keep it rolling. I'm going more for Jonathan Taylor scoring touchdowns, baby, because I'm riding the Colts train. Let's do it.
Yeah, I agree. All right, this season, play your player instincts. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code Fitz and Whit. That's code Fitz and Whit. Play just $5. Get $50 in Pick 6 bonus picks. Make the call. Ride the upside in partnership with DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 plus age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction.
Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 bonus picks that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
All right, folks. Our guest today is a member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He's an NFL Comeback Player of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, 6-time All-Pro, 9-time Pro Bowler, 5-time NFL passing yards leader. He played 17 seasons, all with the same team. And, of course, no one forget his incredible performance in the Cinema Classic, Ace Ventura, Pet Detective.
Perfect.
Yeah,
go,
but
Fitz.
more importantly, Whit, I had the honor of sitting with him in QB meetings for 2 years in Miami, and he's an all-around great dude. Let's give a big Fitz and Whit welcome to Mr. Daniel Constantine Marino Jr.
Oh, thank you. Thanks, Fitzy. Thanks, Andrew. Appreciate
Dan,
that.
what's up, dude? How you doing?
You guys are good for my ego. That's great.
That's what we're here. Encouragers, baby. Encouragers.
Well,
Yeah.
Dan, we need some help for you to break down this Miami situation. Do I need to hit the panic button on my Dolphins? We're going to be good to go. Where are we at, Dan?
I think it's not a panic situation. As you know, you played in the league many times, and you know we actually should have won the game yesterday. And it was one of those things that when the NFL comes down to the end a lot. The first game, we didn't really play well, and everybody knows that. And I felt like we played more than well enough to win this game. It's just at the end, we had a touchdown. Achane goes out of bounds, and then the next thing you know, a couple penalties, and then we end up losing the game. They came back from, they were down 12-0, the Dolphins. They came back from that, and they came back from another lead that New England had, and I thought they played pretty solid the whole day. It's just, as you guys know, you got to take advantage of the opportunities when you have them, especially like that at the end of games, because in the NFL, all the games go down to the end.
Like we always say, it's a game of inches, and it truly, like Achane stepping out of bounds by like a pinky toe.
Yeah.
Like it truly showcased that it is a game of inches. Well, I love our time together. We had Miami. When did you get into that role of just kind of you're kind of around and you're helping out in whatever scenario possible? And when I was there, we just had great conversations in the quarterback room, sitting around, hanging out, talking about throwing 4 verticals and throwing slants. And how long have you been in that role, and what is your day to day with the Dolphins right now?
I the coaches go, as you know, all the coaches when I was there with you, that's their job is to coach and do their thing, and I'm just kind of around if for extra help if they need it or not. I mean, I actually spent a lot of time with you because I enjoyed being in a room with you and listening to what you have to say, because you're that Ivy League smart Harvard guy, and I was trying to learn stuff from you. As playing quarterback.
Plenty of antics with this guy.
But I'm still doing the same type of thing. I go to practice mostly, and every now and then I'll go in the quarterback room. In camp, there's, how they have all the people in the quarterback room. So, I didn't go as much maybe this year as I have in the past. But I enjoy doing it. I enjoy being around the players. It's football, and it's never going to leave my blood. And I'm pretty fortunate to be able, the Dolphins let me, come in there and do that kind of thing.
It's pretty amazing, Dan. I think it's one of those things. They're very fortunate as well to have somebody that a legend like yourself in there. And I think it's funny when we see these teams. You start a season 0-2. We always talk about the locker room and the atmosphere and the culture and all this mess. And it always takes me back. I remember Sean McVay and I having this conversation. We were bringing a guy in at one time. I think it was either one of the trades or signings we were doing. And him and I were like, what do you think the effect, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, you know what? I think we overthink these things. He goes, you know what's going to have a great effect on our culture and in our locker room? Let's go win. If we win football games and we do what it takes to win, I've yet to meet one that doesn't have an awesome culture and a great locker room, right? Winning cures everything. So when you think about this group, what do you think about the locker room? You're there, you're around these guys, like you said, and really, is it just that? They just need something to go their way to get them going.
Yeah, I think the one thing, as you know, and coaches should harp on this kind of thing is, it was one game, we lost it, or 2 games we've lost. Be positive, like you said, Andrew, and just win games. Like, the next game is the most important game. And just like the next game after that's the most important game. And then, 5, 6, 7 down the line. And, it's a long season. We very close to winning last week. And you're right. Winning takes care of everything. It makes everybody feel good. It makes everything positive. The big thing is, in Buffalo, we play in Thursday. So, that's a quick turnaround. That's why you have to have that mindset. Like, hey, last year we lost on the last, field goal at the end of the game. So we almost had them beat up there in Buffalo. So, it's there. We have the ability to do it. It's just, you got to get it done.
Do you think that, NFL offenses overcomplicate it sometimes? I'm just thinking back to your career, and you threw for 5,000 yards and 48 touchdowns before it was cool, Dan, before anybody was even close to that. It just seems to me like there is a complication now, maybe an overcomplication, to where it's one-on-one to the outside. I've got my best player over there. Let's throw him the rock. Have you seen that as we've kind of gotten farther away from your career since you retired?
I think yes. I think it's a little more, in our offenses that we ran, and I think we talked about it before, you kind of line up. You want to look, and Peyton Manning used to do this too. You just line up. You want to look at the defense, get a feel for the pre-snap read coverage, and get your best matchup. If you want to change it, you change it. So, it's evolved now. It's evolved over time, and people are playing different positions. We had our X, we had our Y, we had our Z, we had 2 backs, double tight ends. Now they have different formations, and I would say yes, that it is more complicated all over the league. When you watch what everybody's doing it now.
Yeah, Dan, I think on that subject, I was watching a kind of a commentary Tom Brady went into with Colin Cowherd about, sometimes we assume for these quarterbacks, they're all in the same situation and they're all getting taught, they're getting all this certain level of education as they're trying to learn. And I think to both of you guys' point of talking about sometimes we overcomplicate, we also assume, I think, that maybe we can design all this stuff and maybe we can come up with these ideas, but can we actually, from the quarterback's eyes, like I used to always tell my coaches, teach me from the grass. Like if you can't teach me what this looks like or this play is supposed to work like from the field level, then like sitting up here at this eye level where we're looking down on the film, like that really doesn't do anything for me. And I think sometimes we assume all these quarterbacks get those experiences the same. And so what do you make of some of these guys that we've seen? Now we see Daniel Jones here in Indianapolis. We've seen Sam Darnold, Geno Smith. Sometimes that changes scenery. All of a sudden we see them find a different version of themselves or maybe a better version.
Yeah. I mean, Andrew, I think sometimes it is what you said. It changes scenery. They get so many young guys, they get plugged in there early and maybe they're not ready quite yet. They're just not ready and they get put in tough situations and they learn from that, I'm sure. And that's kind of what, like the guys you're talking about, they probably learned from being in those tough situations with the teams they were with. And then now they get this, new life and they get another chance and they have all those experiences, good and bad, and they have that with them and they learn from that, which gives them the chance to be, a good player in the league, and that's the thing, and do it for a long time.
When I think about Dan Marino and pop culture, I obviously think about isotoners. Yes. I think about Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, and I think about Hootie and the Blowfish, and the song. What was the genesis of that relationship with you and Darius Rucker back in the day?
So first of all, he was a Dolphin fan all the time, and he actually wanted to come to my golf tournament. I had never met him before, but then he asked me to be in a video before he was coming to the golf tournament. And he was doing a video in Chicago. So I said, well, I'm going to be in Chicago this day and that. And he's like, well, let me put you in my video. So I'm like, okay, we'll do that. So we met on a field. And then after that, we just became friends. He used to come to games all the time. And he would stay over at my house. So he'd stay in my guest house, and and he'd come in on a Friday and leave on Monday. And he left the guitar on my back porch. So sometimes after games, he would just sit back there. Some of the players would come over and he'd sing, and we just hit it off. We hit it off really well, and became friends, and still friends today. And he's an amazing artist. He really is, and just a fun guy to be around. And he is a true Dolphin fan. True Dolphin fan.
Fitz and I have a similar experience with Shabuzi this year. If you watch our promos, the only difference is we had to pay him to hang out with us. But
Dan doesn't know
it's
Shabuzi
the same
is.
situation,
Dan doesn't
right?
know Shabuzi is.
Come on, Dan's a huge Shabuzi guy.
I don't know who Shabuzi is. I mean, tell me.
No, Shabuzi is a pop artist at 6'5" and did our intro song for us this year.
He looks like he should be playing on NFL fields. I know that.
Okay.
Yeah, and he bowed up to Richard Sherman, and Sherman wasn't real happy about that, so they almost got in a fist fight.
Sherman was ready to take him down, to tackle him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But Dan, I'm assuming you're still having nice steak dinners with the doctors as you guys go on the road, and Whit is a connoisseur of some of the finer things in life as well.
Talk about that, Dan. I mean, Fitz and I are now retired guys. I loved hearing you say that, because it's one of the things when we do this Thursday Night Football stuff now, the game's obviously amazing. Amazon is pouring a lot into this to make it really special. But I tell people all the time, like, honestly, I think I would pay money to do this job, in the sense that I get to go every week and hang out with a bunch of former players and fans of the game who just love the game of football. And then those couple hours before every game to just see guys I either played with, coaches I was with, or maybe young guys that I knew that they were going to be kind of up and coming. I get to watch their growth. Talk about that part of just once you're out of the game, still how much appreciation you have for maybe some of those relationships that you just more and more start to realize how special they were.
Andrew, it's I call it's like respect for the game and for the players you played with, and the veterans, the coaches, guys that were older when I came in as a young player, and now I'm an older ex-player, and the young guys still. It's all the same. We're like the same brotherhood, because we're playing football. We all love football. We wouldn't be in the NFL, believe me. You got to love it. You play hard. And it's just such a part of your life. So, you never, you never want to lose that. You always want to have that, the teammates, the good feeling like it was, when you were in the locker room, and get that opportunity rarely nowadays as, you get older and you're doing other things. But I love that when, we go, like you're talking about, we go on the field, before a game, and then you see the coaches, maybe their head coaches you might have played with before, and, or assistant coaches, and then some of the players. So man, it makes it for a lot of fun. And that's, that's one of the reasons I really enjoy, doing what I do.
Yeah, one of my favorites, Dan, is always, like we'll joke, and I'm sure you've had tons of these, I can imagine, in your Hall of Fame career, but you'll have the guy who you're like, wait, that's so-and-so from where there was like, he might have been printing papers, at one time, or he was 22 or 23, and you're like, holy shit, that guy's like the OC or the head coach or whatever,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you look at like Ben Johnson, was he Ben Johnson there, Fitz, when you were there? No, was he?
He was there right before me.
Right,
so yeah,
right
Ben
before
Johnson,
you. Yeah, he was there, and I think he was an assistant quarterback coach. So I was around him a lot and spent time with him. Next thing you know, boom, 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 he's a coordinator now. He's a head coach, and Grizzard too. It's in Tampa now. He's the offensive coordinator.
Yeah. How about Grizz?
Grizz, same way, and he's the offensive coordinator now, and maybe someday he'll be a head coach. And that's really gratifying to see guys work hard and love the game that way. And, I give a lot of respect to coaches because the hours and the time they put in, to be the best they can be and to teach the guys the best they can. That's really cool to see that stuff.
Let's take Tua out of this so we don't cause any controversy. I'm just going to ask you, when you turn on the TV on a Sunday night, Monday night, are there quarterbacks in the league that you're tuning in to watch play? Who are some of your favorites right now?
I've always enjoyed watching Patrick Mahomes, obviously, because what he does, what he can do with the football, how he throws it, how he plays the game. Justin Herbert, he's coming along. I like him too. Lamar is, he's a special player, what he's able to do with the game. So I enjoy watching those guys, and I just enjoy watching quarterback play in general. There's some young dudes that are coming up that can be superstars, and that's always good to see.
Dan, I remember we did the interview last year, a couple years ago, and I know it was your wife's birthday, and you gave us some time. It was Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
That's another cool story of just a guy. His dad absolutely loved you. He's basically born in a Marino jersey, wears 13 because of you. What I like about quarterback play right now is you mentioned Lamar, who is so different from the way that you played, who's so different from the way Purdy plays, and Josh Allen and Tua,
right.
And there's all these different types.
Yeah, Josh
but
Allen
bringing up
too.
Brock Purdy, yeah. Do you know what turf toe is? Did you ever have turf toe?
I never did. Never had turf toe, so I don't know. So it's
I never did either. But like, I hate to make light of it with Joe Burrow's injury, but it's like we got to change the name. Because I'm sure you had turf burn. You used to play on those AstroTurf fields.
Yeah, it was like concrete. It was like going out and playing the parking lot. It was bad. It was bad. So turf toe, I don't know exactly what it is, but it's just spraining your toe or your bottom of your foot. I mean,
that's what I think we should say. You tore a ligament in your big toe, or we should call it the TCL and say, hey, he tore his TCL in his big toe. Because every time you say turf toe, I think of turf burns, which I think of you playing on AstroTurf.
Right. When you get the skin comes right off, and it takes like a week or two to come back.
Those showers. Oh,
hey, what
brutal.
was to me when I think back of you and your career too, obviously aside from all the amazing accomplishments that you had, your face mask. Is there a story with the face mask you wore, or is that just the face mask that they gave you?
Joe Namath used to wear it, and I always liked Joe. And Joe had that kind of mask, and I grew up watching Joe and loved him because of the white shoes, long hair, wearing fur coats and the mask he wore. And I think my first year in college, I wore like the regular quarterback mask. And then the next year they started making those, and I was like, okay, I'm going to wear those. And the one kind of like Joe Namath had it. And then ever since then, I just wore them, Plus it covers up a little more too, in case you never know.
They don't let them hit there anymore.
I know.
What about hitting the quarterback now?
No, they don't.
Would you have liked to play in today's game, not getting hit as much and getting yellow flags everywhere?
Yeah, there'd be nothing wrong with that. It's like, I ain't saying it's flag football because it's very physical no matter what, but
yeah.
If you're standing in a pocket and they can't really hit you in the face, or they can't hit you below the knees or knees below, I think it makes it where you can stand in there longer and make throws.
Dan, you've been open about living with MASH and really
Yep.
going through that process of the diagnosis after your playing career. Talk to me about that and kind of what it went into that.
It's an awareness program, and it's an unusual stories unordinary story. I'm sorry, you caught me off guard there for a second. Unordinary stories, and I'm doing a campaign for them for awareness, for MASH and for fatty liver disease. And I found out about it in 2007. And the best part about it is, you go to your doctor, you get your physical, but it's manageable. That's the thing. The main thing, it's manageable through diet, through working out, being positive, and understanding the things you need to do to take care of your liver and your health in general. And so that's the program we're doing. And the stories are great. I have a story in there. It's my story, and then also some other athletes, professional athletes, that I'm not allowed to talk about right now because their programs aren't out there yet. But there's 15 million Americans that deal with this, and like 1 in 20 have it, and it goes unnoticed if you don't go to physical, you don't get your physical, talk to the doctor, all those things. It can go unnoticed. But if you do, it's treatable through diet, through exercise, the things that we all want to do, and for sure, to be healthy and be around for your kids and for your grandkids and for your family, your friends. Those are the things that you have to concentrate on, especially when you get older. And it's younger people get it too, but when you get older, to make sure you're around for everybody and you're healthy. So it's they've been great to work with, and the one other thing I would say is the stories are cool because they basically talk about my life and things in my life and how I dealt with that, but also other things. That's why they need to go, some of your listeners go to unordinarystories.com. It's very refreshing, and they would actually enjoy it.
Thanks for sharing that, Dan. I was just texting with Kyle and Troy the other day, the trainers with Miami, for everybody listening, and Kyle was giving me a hard time and trying to get me to go get a dang physical done, because since I've played, you don't have
at it.
It's not the easy way to just go to the doctor and do all that stuff. And so based on what you just told me, I know I got to go in and get checked out, especially for being around for my kids and everything else. So thank you for sharing that.
Man. It's just it's something that we all should do, not just football players, but everybody, just to stay on top of your health and your life. And it'll make you feel better. It'll give you, it'll keep your mind right, keep your heart right for your family. And, that's the most important thing. Thank you, guys.
Well, thank you, Dan. Dude, we'll see you on Thursday then.
Okay, man. I'll see you.
Make sure you come over and say hi, or I'll try to come and see you. Don't be avoiding me.
Oh, no. I'll come see you.
All right.
All right, guys.
And you'll get to see how big Whit is in real life. So.
Oh, no, I saw Whit the last time I saw you. We were talking out on the field. Last time I was last year, I think it was, right? You played a Thursday night game?
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
for
we
sure.
appreciate your time, Dan.
I want you to wear something really fun Thursday night.
Come on, Fitz. Let's
Come on,
go.
Fitz. Come up with something fun, man.
I want you to wear something fun too, Dan.
No, I'm just the same conservative. That's what I do. So, but I'm asking you. That's all.
Just take it down a button for me. All right. Love you, Dan. Thank you, brother.
All right,
Appreciate it,
Fitzy.
man.
Take care, Andrew. Appreciate your time, man.
Yeah, brother,
Thank you,
you too.
guys. All right, peace.
Football is back, and so is your chance to cash in like never before with DraftKings Pick 6, the official daily fantasy partner of the NFL. Your game day instincts can score you real money fast. Here's the play.
Yeah, just pick more or less on 2 or more player stats, from breakout rookies to elite QBs, and unlock the upside every snap brings. The better your calls, the bigger your payout. No gimmicks, no convoluted rules, just you, your player reads, and a shot at big returns. Nail your picks, and you're not just winning, you're stacking. Pick 6 rewards bold play with payouts beyond the minimum if you beat the field.
That's all great. And as a kickoff bonus, new DraftKings customers get $50 in bonus picks with just a $5 entry on your first pick set.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 plus age, and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction.
Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 bonus picks that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos. All right, Whit, this is kind of turning into my favorite segment of the week here to get it from you. Big Whit Energy, but I do have to say You can't give it to James Hudson of the Giants. 4 straight penalties on the same drive. Ends up getting benched. A lot of screaming and yelling going on.
Don't forget about that head slap.
Sideline. The head slap that he had. I would say he is disqualified from Big Whit Energy this week.
Well, that head slap's what's going to be coming out if anybody makes my daughter upset at homecoming. All right. But that head slap was serious. Listen, Fitz, we got Big Whit Energy today again. Here it is, though. Here's what I want to make clear about Big Whit Energy. This isn't always about your lineman played the best on Sunday. And I know people are going to have a feeling, well, you didn't talk about this guy and he's playing awesome and blah, 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 blah. This is about those moments in the game where you got some Big Whit Energy. I mean, you're talking to the only Walter Payton Manor winner who has been ejected twice from the NFL.
Twice.
So I've had some Big Whit Energy moments. Twice, not once, twice. All right. And I've had a bunch of run-ins where I might should have gotten ejected before. But here's my point. It's about being that guy in those moments that your team needs to step up with some Big Whit Energy. So my winner this week, he's not, people are going to say, hey, last week he struggled here or there. But this week he played really well. He only got 1 pressure in 30-something pass block attempts. Josh Simmons. Why is Josh Simmons the Big Whit Energy winner? It ain't even about playing offensive line. On that interception that we talked about, Fitz, where the ball comes off of Travis Kelce's hands into the Eagles defense, and they take off down the sideline. Who hits 18 miles an hour and makes the game-saving tackle? If you watch this game
18?
And you can't go, wow, maybe O-linemen are more athletic than I thought. Now, granted, he might be our most athletic specimen, but that was impressive shit. And that is Big Whit Energy, baby. The angle he took, the speed, the way he went. He didn't even do the shove on the sideline thing, Fitz, or like run him out. He went for the knees, through the legs. This dude's played some football in his lifetime outside of just being an offensive lineman.
Yeah.
That was a very impressive tackle.
Can I ask you, not that my lineman ever had much experience with it, but when the quarterback throws an interception and, you do have that, maybe if I go full speed and take an angle, really there's no chance I'm going to make the tackle. Were you even, DB gets by you, were you a fake energy guy by the end of your career? Were you not even acting like you could make the tackle because you couldn't? Like, where did you stand on that?
And I will say I have some deep safety tapes out there. I might have ran just as far away from the play as possible to just act like I was going to be the safety just because I kind of felt like everybody was going to make the tackle. So it's like, all right, I'm going to run way back here and look like I'm a smart player, right?
Like Gronk in the Miami Miracle back there?
Yes, I'm just going way back there to make sure I'm on top of it. But then later in my career, actually, it actually became fun. It's like you're bored. I mean, I pass protect a million times by now. If I got a chance to go make a tackle, so I made some tackles there later in my career. And I'd go after the football. But I think my biggest Big Whit Energy moment, Fitz, I actually hit over 18 miles an hour too. And I know you wouldn't believe
really?
that.
Wait, when? What were you doing? Warm-ups? Like running through the tunnel?
This is my Big Whit Energy. I came to the Los Angeles Rams in 2017. I'm 35 years old. They just gave you this big contract. They're expecting you to be the leader of change in this culture. In our first preseason game in LA against the Chargers.
Hold on. I'm trying to picture this too. Were you still dyeing your beard at that point, or was it gray? Okay, weren't dyeing it yet.
We're in the Coliseum. Joey Bosa gets a sack fumble on Jared Goff, and Melvin Ingram picks it up. He was the rusher on my side, so he sees the ball go down. I wasn't trying to clarify. I didn't give up the sack. I just he picks the ball up and takes off, and I decide in that moment, you got to go, baby. I don't care if it's a preseason or not. We're down in their red zone about to score, and unfortunately we fumble it. He takes off for the end zone, and by no means am I as fast as an edge rusher, but I decided I'm catching this dude. So I literally took off in a preseason game. I hit over 18 miles an hour. I almost caught him at like the 1 yard line, and as we're running in the end zone, it's my favorite moment ever. He turns back and he's like, what the are you doing, dude? Like, why? Like, it's the preseason. He's just trying to score a touchdown, and I'm making him empty the tank to score. He was so pissed at me, but it was a cool moment because we show it on tape, and Sean's like, listen, this is the oldest dude in our entire locker room. This is a preseason game that doesn't mean shit. And this is what it means to him to try and go make a play in this game. Like, it was a great moment for me to have Big Whit Energy to set the tone for our team and what it was about, right? You're not just some old dude collecting a check. We're here to do some cool shit. So that was my Big Whit Energy moment. That's why I loved seeing Josh Simmons not only play better this week, and really start to show some of that athleticism, but also that moment, the commitment of, I'm here to help the Chiefs win. I'm going to hit this thing as hard as I can and make an awesome game-saving tackle in a moment, shows me he's locked in, he's about the right things, and I'm looking forward to this guy's future.
Hell yeah. I like that. And that's cool to highlight that moment. I guess the other question I have from you is, where's Hank this week? Because, look, 2 weeks in a row. Yeah, I went 5-0 the first week. I went 4-1 last week. But Hank got his ass beat 2 weeks in a row. And now I find out from our producer that he's not showing up this week. What are we doing?
Hank's licking his wounds this week. Here's what I would say. He's a little pissed. He thought this was just an opportunity for him to eat and hang out with us. I think he's a little upset. Now, I will say this. He was in my chair this morning as I came in and turned the lights on for the pod. He did not want to leave the office. And I think he's a little upset that he didn't know he wasn't making an appearance this week. So he's a little grumpy today. I will say that. And maybe it's the losses and maybe it's not having an appearance this week, but he kind of feels like he's a showman now.
He is. He's a beautiful dog. He's actually changing my view on dogs a little bit. Maybe I'm becoming a little bit more of a dog guy. He softened me up a little bit.
I'm excited about that.
I needed to get that off my chest. I feel a little bit better. I just want to do a quick recap of the shenanigans that we had over the last week, starting with tough for us to get a direct flight to Green Bay, so we decided on Tuesday.
Is that the excuse?
Well, no, I'm just saying, well, we love getting together too. Tuesday night, we decided to go to Chicago, stay in Chicago together. You usually would take care of the hotel reservations. I said, you know what, Andrew, AJ, Andy, I've got this. I'm going to take care of the reservations. I got a place for us, the Chicago Club. And boy, did it not disappoint. It was wonderful, and I loved every second of it.
Yeah, if you've never been to the Chicago Club, I was wanting to go. For any of the Fitz and Whits fans that know us well, you know that I'm more of like a Soho Chicago guy, probably.
He's bougie.
I'm very bougie, or maybe the Waldorf. But so I'm wanting to go hang out in the gym, the kind of social, restaurants and the cafe down there. Fitz is like, I got this. I'm going Chicago Club. I get there, and I'm going to have a hoodie on, probably some version of sweatpants, some shorts, something. And I walk in, and it was very clear that I was not dressed appropriately for the Chicago Club. Everyone is in a full suit, business suit, tie, dress shoes that have just been shined. And, I tried to make a little conversation, and it was very clear that they kind of showed me the dress code rules. And, hey, listen, I got the opportunity to walk from the front door to my hotel room and back, and that was about the only place I was allowed with my dress code. But it was awesome. It was sick, and it was like going back 75 years. It was definitely a Ryan Fitzpatrick pick.
That was a cool part for me, though, because I'm part of the Harvard Club of Boston. It's a reciprocal club, and so it's fine. We could stay at all the nicest, most wonderful, fancy places, which you always want to do. But this had a little bit of culture to it.
I
really
agree.
did. Like the rooms were really cool. The view was insane. We actually did sneak up to the rooftop, even though you didn't have a jacket on. And that view was insane. So I was happy with that. But then what I was happy with, too, is we weren't allowed to eat there because you didn't have a jacket. And so we went to Chicago Cut. Oh, my. When you're lucky enough to go to a place and the GM comes out and says, we got you. We'll order for you. And you don't have to do a thing or order anything on the menu. That's when you know you're in for a good meal.
Yeah, you know what? Big Whit will never let you down when it comes to dining, right? Not to mention, Fitz, I think you're forgetting because he's a candidate this week. Also, we got the guy working security there, one of the most epic beards I've ever seen.
Yeah, this is like Beard of the Year. This isn't even Beard of the Week. This was Beard of the Year. This thing was pretty sick. So then we go to Green Bay the next day, and we love walking around and doing our deal. And look, I needed a haircut. So what do? You go on Google, you check the Yelp reviews, and Fade O'Clock.
Fade O'Clock, baby.
Fade O'Clock popped up. I mean, maybe a little shorter than I would normally do, but I'll tell you what. We walked into
fresh.
that place.
I told you looked great. You looked fresh off the movie The Town. I mean, if you would have told me that you were standing beside Ben Affleck in The Town, hey, you looked good, buddy.
But it's always like the nerves whenever I go to a new barbershop, the beard. And I almost had him not touch it. I needed a little touch up. We probably took a little more off than I wanted, but Alercy did an unbelievable job. Very happy about that. We did the creamery for lunch, which is where we've been before. biscuits and gravy, whatever else they had in the middle of the table. The food there is always amazing. We got our cheese curds. And then, man, what an epic game that we were able to cover. And my favorite part, we've got Micah Parsons with us. We're doing the post game. And we didn't bring it up. He brought it up organically. He thanked you. And he thanked you for how much you've meant to him, through the process of the contract, just helping him out over the years. I thought that was really cool and a testament to the guy that you are.
Yeah, it was a neat moment. I mean, Micah and I have, formed a good relationship over the last few years. Got the opportunity to work with him a couple of years ago in the offseason. And, it's just been cool. It's one of the greatest things, and you know this. You've been in locker rooms as the leader and a guy, elder statesman that everybody kind of leans on for different things in life. And to me, that's the part when people ask you, do you miss football? I don't miss the football part as much as those locker rooms and the opportunities you had there at the last half of your career to just watch guys on their journey and mentor or say a word or being an encourager or maybe just a little insight and wisdom that maybe they don't have yet, just because you've already been through some of the experiences or seen them. It's cool to be able to be that for somebody, and it's not something I would ever share. So it was really neat that it meant something to him to share our relationship a little bit with everyone. And look, I'm a big fan, and wow, what a football team they have,
dude. And he's scary. The intensity. I was trying to get him to I was trying to lighten the mood a little bit.
I thought he was going to knock you out of your chair because you were a quarterback, and he had a way he was looking at you.
Yeah, I was very afraid sitting next to the guy. And then when I offered him the 40-pound thing of cheese, he wanted to know whose hands had been on it, and I don't think he took it home with him. Well, let's get into some of our comments before we get off. We love the comments from the Beardos. I'll go first here at Old Soul Remembering. I don't know if you guys read these comments, but Fitz, when you played for the Bills, you and your buddies were at a bar by the stadium, shocker, and this guy came up to you guys and was kissing your ass, telling you how great you were, but then right as he was leaving, he screamed, "Fitzpatrick, you effing suck!" And then I came up to you and said, "Hey, just so you know, that guy dropped out of high school." You and your buddies laughed. I'll always remember that. That's awesome. Amazingly, I've been heckled before, so those all kind of seem to go together. But what a great moment. Thank you for sharing that, Old Soul Remembering. I love that. And thank you for having my back, too.
That's awesome, Fitz. I actually ran into a guy this weekend in Nashville who shared a story with me from the Masters that you threw away a chair in a trash can. And his kid went and got the said chair out of the trash can. I think you caught him, and went up and made a comment or said something to him. It was awesome. It was really cool.
So I remember that. But do you know what happened at the end of that story or no? Did he tell you the end of it?
No, what happened?
So the end of it was, so they have cases, and you put the chair in the case or whatever, and you sling it over your shoulder. So we were actually using one of those cases for all the trash. So all the beer, all the ice cream sandwiches, wrappers, and everything. So I threw it away, but it was full of trash. And I saw him take it, and he was walking away with my bag, but it was only trash that was in there. So I had to stop him and be like, "Hey, just so you know, think." Yeah, that's full of ice cream sandwich wrappers because I just had 30 of them. It's probably not what you think it is. So I do remember that interaction, actually. That's really funny.
That's awesome. All right, so here's our next comment, Beardo comment. Here we go. Friendly Neighborhood Quacks. I like this name. I never knew that listening to two uncles who used to ball would be this fun. I like that one. Two uncles.
Hey, we are uncles. We appreciate it. We appreciate you. And you do feel... I do. I don't know if I give off an uncle feel, do I? I feel like you give off a real uncle feel. And Jakey calls you Uncle Big Whip with a P.
Big Whip, baby.
He's pretty sure. But look, as the cool uncle, you give great gifts too. And we've talked about some of those on the podcast. But I
was about to say, are my cars still? Do they still exist? Or
so there's one that still exists. So unfortunately, the Bentley or whatever the one was. What you did though in getting the Tesla Cybertruck for Jake, that battery is insane. The charging station is much better than your typical plug-in 12-volt battery. So that was a step up, and that thing's going to last for years. Now, the problem with it is it's got so much power to it and get up that when he crashes it, he breaks things. Not the car, but he breaks the things that he hits. And so we have had a few run-ins with the wall in particular, and with a golf cart to where he's actually knocked some plastic off some things. So do appreciate you getting him things. Whit is a very cool uncle. That was an astute observation. Thank you guys. Keep coming with the comments because we do love reading them. I promise we take a look at them and we might even highlight one of yours in next week's show. So keep it coming. There's going to be a lot of Bills fans, a lot of Dolphins fans this week with their Thursday night football game. So we are looking forward to seeing what kind of comments you can come up with this week. Oh, Whit, the beard of the week. I almost forgot.
It's time, baby. Don't forget about the beard of the week. We saw some great ones on the road this week. I thought, you know what? There were some pretty special beards. I didn't know week one guys would come out swinging like this, but we saw some good ones, man. And I would have to tell you, I'm going to share a couple setups, okay, on a couple of these beards we got, Fitz. One of them, guy I met in Nashville. Unfortunately, I didn't get his name. He was rocking an Oregon jersey. And this beard was pretty special only because it was kind of interesting. It was like cut on the sides, and then he kind of like just grew out the middle as long as possible.
I'm looking at it right now. Yeah.
It was pretty interesting beard. But my favorite part about this guy is he's walking by. We're on Broadway Street in Nashville. There's thousands of people. You can imagine every bridesmaid party you've ever heard of in America is happening right in the middle of it. And also all these Rams, Titans fans, having a big time. And so I'm walking down, I see him and I go, "Hey, sir, excuse me. I know this is awkward. I'm being that person, but can I take a picture with you real quick? We love beards, blah, 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 blah." I give him the whole spiel. He goes, "Yeah, sure. Only on one condition. I'll tell you after you take this picture." Boom. Take the picture. Here I am, this obnoxious asshole. I'm thinking he's about to ask me a Rams question, LSU Tigers, we're in Nashville, or something about wanting something from me, right? And he goes, I go, what was the one thing? He goes, "Well, my wife says anytime these fans ask for a picture of your beard, you should take one back. So can I actually take a picture as well?" And I go, "Sure." Take a picture. I realize the guy, no idea. And he's just like, "No, my wife just says when people ask you for a picture, you should take one too, just to document on the amount of people that take pictures with you." And I was like, wow, that's awesome. This is great. So he was awesome. And that beard's pretty special.
It is special, but he wasn't the best beard we saw of the week.
No,
I would actually,
there's no question.
I didn't get to see his in person, so I may be a little bit biased, but the other two that we saw in Chicago, when we were walking down the street, the first guy, I think he was working security outside of some nightclub or something. We got a picture of it, so hopefully we can put it on. But it is insane. The length, the girth. You love my descriptions of beards, which is they go sideways. No, it was incredible.
Your standards, length and girth. I mean, he had like a full, I would call that full Santa. Like, I mean, if you dyed that thing white, it would literally be like what you've always seen in a book as a kid of like Santa Claus.
But the other guy who we walked in at first, and I kind of noticed him. He had some tattoos and was jacked, but I thought he just had a beard that looked like this. I didn't see that he had put little hair ties in it, about 6 of them, because it was so long and it was going down the front. And he ended up being a guy that was working security and keeping out any problems that were going on at Chicago Cut. But his beard, I know that we threw Lane Johnson's in the Beard Hall of Fame. I don't know how big this Hall of Fame is going to get to, but I think he has to be the winner of the Beard of the Week. And I think that he probably also goes into the Hall of Fame because it was a top 5 beard I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I would almost argue that I would love to see this thing at full mast. I mean, he has it all tied up. I hope this opportunity of him being thrown as our fan beard of the week, and maybe we can get this opportunity that he would send us a picture of this thing at full mast, because I want to see him take it all out and just let it all hang in its beautiful glory.
Are we talking about his beard?
We're talking about his beard, right?
Yes.
His beard.
Yes, we're talking about his beard.
Grow up. You're such a child.
Oh my God. All right. And even it feels weird naming a player after the glorious beards that we saw on the streets, yours in Nashville and then the 2 we saw in Chicago. But I'm going to go with a former teammate of mine, and I'll try to have you guess at where we were teammates. But I don't know if you've seen Samaje Perine and his beard. To me, it's the thickness and the fact that he does have a little, I don't give a shit about what it looks like. I think he's rugged, and it makes him look like a man's man. So this week I'm going to go ahead and name Samaje Perine as our NFL player beard of the week.
I like that one. And it's that's a beautiful beard as well.
Take a guess at where we played together.
Oh, man. I'm going to go. It's got to be at the very end. So it's got to be Miami or Washington.
Yeah, now I'm doubting where we played together, but I think it was Miami.
I thought it was Miami, but that was my first guess.
I think it was Miami. Yeah. I remember the dude more than, the plays that we made on the field together. So,
there we go.
Well, that is it for us, but we'll be back next Wednesday with all the biggest news from week 3, and we're going to keep responding to your comments and picking a fan beard of the week. So send in your beard picks. Follow the show on all social media at Fitz and Whit with the "and" spelled out. Fitz and Whit is a Wave original. Thanks again to Dan Marino for joining us. I love Dan. Thank you to our production crew. And again, thanks to all of you Beardos for tuning in. We will see you next week.
Peace.